So this project, we're going to be making a platform for a couple of compressors that are going to drive the automatic tool changer, or the ATC, on the ShopBot. And plus, I want to do some special features to the platform in the sense of making the compressors a little more vibration friendly because of how I'm going to pipe the air supply. In terms of how the piping is going to run, I want to minimize how much vibration the tools will actually be feeling. So what we're going to do is take a look at what I've got, and we will begin drawing the platform that we're going to make to rest these two compressors on. Let's move on.
All right, let's run it for real, as they say. All right, we're in good position. Cut part, OSB perimeter, no offset. Tell that I don't have a good amount of vacuum here. Oh! Yeah, okay. Yeah. I don't have enough vacuum now. So I'm going to have to mechanically fasten this. Not a big deal. I'm going to do that right now. Got some vacuum, just not enough. It's just what this boils down. Ability to hold the workpieces down. We're not going to end up finishing here. We're going to finish over here. So let's split. And let's got that screw sticking up there. I'm going to run that spindle MX0. So let's move it to MX0 first. And then we'll move it to MY0. Actually, I'll just do an M3. Okay, let's try that again. Up part, OSB perimeter, no offset. Spindle's running. Okay, cutting it down. Okay, so we've cut our 3 pieces, and thinking about just simply making a tool path that will allow me to, as if I'm scoring, or, you know, not scoring, but I am surfacing the spoil board so I can pick up all that dust. I won't do that on camera. So what I'm going to do now for the rest of the day is I'm going to clean my work area, because we're at the end of the day. Tomorrow we're going to glue this material up. The day after, tomorrow's Friday, on Saturday we're then going to start machining it so we can build a proper deck. Here are our casters, and yeah, it's going to look pretty good. Actually, I see something here that we have to be mindful of. I've got 3 pieces of OSB. That's going to be roughly 1 3/8. I've got to make sure maybe we should just make it with 2 pieces of OSB so that we're not, and we'll hold it back far enough, because otherwise our skirt is going to be too long, or I'll have to inset the wheels so far so that the wheels, you know, if we're at 1 3/8 roughly, I'd have to really set them back, otherwise they're going to hit the inside perimeter. Which actually is going to be okay, because I don't want the wheels to be seen anyway. So I'm going to hang them back far enough. That'll be fine. Okay, next up, we're going to glue some material together.
If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it.
So moving on with the project, what I've done is laid up my material that's going to serve as the platform, obviously. So I have a piece of 3/4 plywood, a piece of 1/2 inch MDF, a piece of 3/4 plywood, then my 3 pieces of OSB. These are what I'm going to pocket into to give myself the skirt that I'm going to have. The real concern is going to be 2, 3, 4 1/4 inch. The issue is we're going to find out if I've got the Z-axis capacity for this. Otherwise, our design is going to inherently change. I've thought about how I might have to do this in terms of doing a partial cut with a shorter bit, then coming back. I may have to surface this all down to just simply be thinner. So that's what we're doing, and the next step is going to be trying to figure out, do we have the Z-axis for this to work? So let's start that. Okay, let's see if we can figure out if we've got the Z-axis for this. We're going to measure what we're dealing with, and you know, hopefully I've not been a little bit too aggressive about designing this. There's no bit in here. I was actually running a pocketing routine to take off some of the dust, so to speak. So I'm sitting on top of 1/2 inch. This 1/2 inch is sitting on top of my actual spoil board. I'm going to leave this on here if I can. The length of my 1/2 inch compression bit is 4 inch, so there's not going to be a lot left in the spindle, that's for sure. The issue is I don't think I'm going to get to zero this. Now, if we can lift the Z another inch, we're going to be really close to being able to make that work. Got enough under the tool basically to practically zero it. Well, we've got enough under the tool to zero it, and sure don't have enough length coming off the bit to cut it without repositioning the bit. I don't know if there's enough in the spindle to hold the bit. Yeah, we lost it there. Well, I think what my goal is going to be able to profile cut the piece to true it off so that I can actually hold it in position in a fixed point on the tool. So what I'm trying to say is we need to profile, we need to pocket, and we need to do some basic surfacing, we need to do some basic milling to the top of the rolling cart, pre-drilling for holes and doing a couple of other operations that I want to do, indicating which compressor is on which side by giving it a name. A small pocket path to allow the compressors to sit in a small recessed area on top of isolating washers, so to speak, before they're then bolted down. The bottom line is I think what I have to do is true it all first so that I can take accurate measurements off the end of the workpiece on both sides. So that's what I'm endeavoring to do right now.
If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video.
We'll pick this video up after we make some headway. And what that headway is going to be is getting the workpiece unclamped. Well, we'll just leave this run while we do that. We'll get the workpiece unclamped. Decided to add a second Becker to the system so that I can increase the airflow. It's not, and I spoke to Becker, and I spoke to a very, very kind lady in engineering there who was extremely knowledgeable from what I could tell and very patient with my questions. And first of all, since we're talking about the Becker, I had two questions for them. First of all, would it be permissible to duct into the exhaust and run that pipe outside, because there's a lot of heat coming out of this, a lot. And we've got HVAC running and we're just wasting that. So I'm going to work on ducting that out. Now what the engineer said was absolutely, I mean it's threaded basically for that purpose. One, okay, it's okay to do it. Two, use metal because it's going to get hot, she said, basically. Were her words in essence. Three, don't create a backdraft, meaning don't go any smaller than this. Okay to go bigger, don't go smaller. So the second Becker is, I've requested that get on order, so all we have to do is take the second Becker, place it in the general area, and then we're going to create a Y from the from our primary control up front, our valve basically, and Y that into the two Beckers is what it's going to be. And the way it was explained to me was you're going to increase airflow, meaning you're going to draw more air from all of those areas where air is leaking from. So I actually can't say confidently that we're going to increase hold down. We're not going to make it worse, but it's going to draw it's going to draw more air. And if we've got areas in our plenum where it's weak, not sufficient, our success is going to be tied to that, basically. All right, so let's continue with what we're doing. These Bessie clamps have proven to be fairly good. I've not used them for years in the sense of these two clamps that I have, but I've used them relatively intensely, and they've not failed. I've not abused them to the point where they've failed, so they're not awful, that's for sure. It's going to be very interesting to see if we're going to be able to get that thickness of material to actually work. Well, we know we won't be running the dust skirt on this, in the sense that it won't, well, we will, we just won't be getting that placed. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, it's heavy. I'm gonna say it's 70 pounds. Oh, just barely. Just barely. I don't know how much higher we'll be able to move that. So what my goal was to get it clamped down. I mean, fixturing this is just going to be somewhat of a challenge, but to do one side at a time is what I'm thinking. So that I can continue to rotate the piece one side at a time. Actually don't like the side that we're starting with. Just trying to get the piece squared up in the work on the bed to the point where we can actually run one side and then rotate it. I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, let's get the tools zeroed. Let's see what happens here. Now that's X and Y. Now let's move it to M2 8,8. Then we'll do a C2, zero the X-axis. See what happens. It touched off. Ah! Yeah,
If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it.
So we've not had luck getting it to 0 on top of that material. I'm losing my x-axis. So I'm going to 0 it to the machine bed, and I'm very hesitant to do that because I've not had success with actually getting myself not cutting into my spoil board unpredictably. So now is an opportunity to learn the difference between machine bed and material surface so that I understand it. I hope. And that's, I think, the problem. It's hitting a limit switch as it comes up on the Z. It's what the problem is. I don't have enough room, given the length of the bit and the overall thickness of what I'm trying to sit on top of. So that's my theory. So what I think I'll do is, right now we're 0 to what's the machine bed, which happens to be the top of this spoil board. And I think what I'll do is move the workpiece well out of the way. And draw a tool path and just air cut to see what sort of behavior we're experiencing. So let's move on and do that.
Okay, so let's draw this piece. Create a new file. And if you recall, we cut it to 38 by 32 material thickness. Now I'm actually going to measure it with the caliper because I want to be more accurate than a tape measure. So 3 1/4 is going to work out. I mean, it's extremely close to that. Close enough. We're going to call it 3 1/4, 3.3 inches. XY is at the machine bed. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do first is run a vector here so I can true one side and then continue to rotate the piece. Let's just start with a very simple vector because I've got to figure out if this is even going to work. All right, we've got a circle, and we will just create a tool path over this circle, and we will give it we'll just do a profile. And this is the part that gets me concerned. I have a feeling I'm going to be cutting in too deeply. Safe Z is 3 1/2 inch. Okay, well, okay, that makes sense. That's reassuring. So the home position is going to be 4.1. I'm actually not sure where that's coming from. Well, it looks right. Definitely looks right. Test machine bed. A lot of this is just learning. Close. Well, let's leave it at MZ2. It's gonna try to get up too high. Well, let's try. If it hits the limit switch, if it hits the limit switch, I'm gonna change MZ to like MZ1 and we'll see what happens at that point. Test machine bed. We're not gonna offset this because I don't have the workpiece there. So I don't think there's gonna be any trouble with that. moving up. All right. Went in an eighth, cut my circle, and then promptly lost our Z. Okay. Promptly lost our Z right at the end of it. It ran it, lost the Z right at the end. Let's turn off the ShopBot software. FX. Let's restart the controller. Restarting the ShopBot software. M2, actually. M3, 8, 8, 5. And it stopped to within probably 3/8 of the bed of the material of the machine bed. So let's do a C2. Let's zero the Z, then we'll do a C3 after that. C3. Okay, let's do an MZ1. Now let's run that same part and see if we lose the Z. Test machine bed. No offset. It's moving up to 2. That kind of makes sense. Yep, and then lost the Z again. All right, let's do this. M2 8, 8. Let's do a C2. Yeah, the controller is going to have to be turned off. It runs into this infinity sort of movement.
If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video.
I wonder if I should just use the keypad at this point. Probably should just use the keypad. If I can hold it down adequately and I can control the movement, maybe just running the keypad is going to be the way to go. FX. I don't really want to do this on the keypad, but we do need to make hay. We'll zero it, X and Y now. Z 0.5. Okay, I'm going to try. Let's take a look. No offset. It raises itself to 2. Okay. 0.5. The machine thinks it's at 1, but it's not. And it doesn't respond to page up, page down controls. 10, 10, 3. Yeah, the Z does not respond at all. Okay, let's exit the keypad. Let's exit the software. Let's restart the controller. Let's do a M2 12, 12. I want to get the bit over an area that's not gouged up. Actually, M2 16, 12. All right. Over an area that's not gouged up. Let's look at this vector again. Let's edit this tool path. Cut depth 3.3. Yeah, in the software, it's what I believe I want. And if we can get through the work and lose the Z at the very end, I'm okay with that. Let's do a C3 just in case. I know I Z'd. Or if I home the X and Y, so let's do that. The issue is going to be fixturing the item the way that I want without getting real risky and pausing the tool run. Oh, that's just not going to work. That's just not going to work. Let's cut this and see what happens. No offset because it's starting so high, I think. So I'm wondering if it's going to hit the limit switch in the Z going up. Well, it's running the tool path. It's just not high enough, and I think that's because it's hitting the proximity switch in the Z when it travels up. Let's see 8. Prox location now saved for this cutter. Okay, let's see 3. There's no reason. I'm gonna bring it down and home it, and well, our Z should still be 0. I'll check that. I think what I'm going to do is try to get the item positioned down onto the material, onto the machine bed with the vacuum, and just see if we can cut so little off that it doesn't disturb the piece and slow the rate down so that we're not jarring the material. I'm hoping the Becker can hold the piece down. That's just literally what I'm going for, and I should be able to do it all on zone 1. So let's give that a try.
Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.